Everybody. There we go. We can hear you, Jackson. Good morning,
Cool.
man.
Awesome. Good morning.
Hey, everybody. This is Seth Keeping It Real. And today we're going to be doing straight Q&A for PPC, which stands for pay per click, which is referring to Amazon ads. And so what we did is I want to thank you guys for adding all of your most important questions to the advanced Facebook group. So we're now going to go through those, and we actually turn that into a slideshow so it's super clear and simple to follow. And then any additional questions you guys have in addition to that, feel free to ask. And even as we're going, we'll take questions as well. This whole session is not presentation oriented. It's very interactive oriented. So you ready to do this, Danilo?
I'm ready, man. I've been looking forward to this for a couple of weeks now. So let's knock down these questions.
Awesome. You still there, brother?
Yeah, I think I'm back. Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, guys. We will get started. Give me one moment. All right, and Danilo, can you watch the chat? And that way, if a chat comes in that's related to PPC, you can just jump in and read the question and answer it.
Yeah, but do I get the link from the Facebook group, right?
Yep. If you go to the Facebook group, you'll see it there. Just make sure it's muted so you don't get feedback.
I got you, brother.
Awesome. Yeah, you know how to do it. All right, cool. Okay, guys, so these are the most common questions that you guys send us about PPC. And as you have questions off of these, just chat them or just say them verbally. I know, Jackson, you're in the video here. I can't see you right now because I'm sharing my screen, but just share them as we go, and we'll stop and answer. And good afternoon as well to those of you guys who are in Australia or China or in other parts of the world. Okay, first question, how do I know which keywords are making the most sales? The way you're going to do this is you're going to download your keyword report. And remember, guys, you need to wait at least 10 days after starting so the data is accurate. And also keep in mind that the data comes in 48 hours later. So any sales you had in the last 48 hours are not going to show, or if it did, the information wouldn't be accurate. So this is 48 hours back. You download your keyword report and you look at two things, your total units and your conversion rate columns. The total units will tell you how many units sold when an Amazon shopper searched for that particular keyword, which you can see over on the left side in the row, because it shows you the keyword that was searched. And as you move right, you can see the column that says total units. The conversion rate tells you the percentage of clicks that turned into a sale. So for example, if there were 100 people clicked on it, which means you paid 100 times for that click, depending on the bid that you have on it compared to the competition, then let's say 20 of those turned into a sale, then that means you have a 20% conversion rate for that particular keyword. And one thing I will add, everyone, the conversion rate on your keyword report is similar, but not the same as a conversion rate on your business report. So if you go to reports from your Seller Central account and you download a business report for your ASINs, when you download it, you're going to see something that gives you the percentage of sales for that ASIN itself. You're going to see a session unit percentage. And what it means is a session would be, let's say, Jackson, that you went to one of my listings on Amazon and you clicked on it and you went back and forth and looked at it maybe 3 or 4 times throughout the day, because maybe you're talking to, your family about whether or not you should buy it. And then finally you decide, okay, I'm going to get this. Well, that would still count as a session, even if you left and came back, because it was within a 24-hour period starting at 12 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So even though you looked at it or clicked on that listing a few times, it still counts as one session. Now, when you purchase it, let's say you purchased 2, not 1. Each of those still counts towards conversion. So if out of 100 sessions, you were one of the people who purchased and you purchased twice in one order, in other words, two items, 2 coffee mugs, for example, in one order, then that would count as a 2% conversion rate, not a 1%, even though it was one sale. And this is why buy 2, get 1 free kind of deals are really good, because your BSR is based on how many actual individual items are sold, not how many transactions, if that makes sense, you guys. So I just want to make sure you understand the difference between conversion rate for PPC and conversion rate, which is focused on the keyword, and conversion rate for your ASIN, which is focused on the listing. I'll stop at each of these, Danilo, and see if there's anything you want to add to it, brother. I know you have a lot of insight.
You explained everything perfectly, but this is all great, and I think this is really like most of the session percentage. It's something that really people should be looking more into it when they do sponsor ads, even to understand how is people liking their product. Unit session percentage is really a great number to look at, because if it's chill, it's telling you maybe that people don't really like your main picture, for example. So you should definitely go back and make sure that number, it's at least a 15%, 10-15% at least. If it's lower than that, it's really maybe not converting as you could your listing. So that's a great point right here, brother.
Yeah, and it gives you guys two strategies. One is a strategy conversion based on keywords. Another one's based on the listing. So really, you can look at it. You can extract a strategy based on that data, which is, I love that.
Yeah.
Again, guys, if you have any questions as we go, feel free in Google Hangouts. I can't see you guys because I'm sharing my screen, but Danilo, he can see you.
Yeah.
All right, I'll keep going. Here's another common question is, what do I do when my ACoS is too high, my advertising cost of sale? So this depends on the stage you are in. If you just launched your product, and let's say you're within the first 10 to 30 days of that, your advertising cost of sale should not be a concern at all, because your goal right now is to get it ranking. You want it to rank organically, which means you need Amazon shoppers to see your product. So it's expected. I mean, look at it this way. If you launched a brand new company that was a brick and mortar store, and you need people to know that you have this shop that sells office supplies, you need them to know it exists. You wouldn't expect to immediately have profitable sales when you're advertising. Of course not, because people need to. You would expect it. Yeah, I'm going to drop $1, $2, $20, maybe $30,000 advertising just to get the word out there, and then eventually the sales start to come in. So take that same thinking and apply it to your listing. However, if you are in the optimization stage, and we're talking about where you're tweaking your listing for ranking and conversion, it's been about 30 days, you really should start having a drop in your ACoS. And your listing is ranking well, if it's ranking well for many of your most relevant keywords, so that you're doing something right on the PPC ads, you want to lower your bids on the low to medium relevant keywords, because they may be costing you a lot of money for a very low return. So if you guys imagine my pirate mug, my pirate wooden coffee mug, and it's selling on Amazon. Wooden coffee mug would be super relevant. But if we just said coffee mug, yeah, it's relevant, but not super relevant, because that doesn't tell us if it's wood or ceramic. It doesn't tell us if it's brown or white, big or small. Therefore, the chance of that keyword making me a sale is lower. So it could be I'm spending, $70 a day or $80 a day just on that keyword, but I'm only getting a few sales, because out of the, let's say 100 times someone searches for it, a very low percentage of them actually buys it, because it's not as relevant, because they were looking for a white coffee mug, but mine's a brown one, or they were looking for a ceramic, but mine's a wooden one. So the idea here is you don't want to bid too high on your medium, on your low to medium relevant keywords. And that could be why your ACoS is high. Now, let me give you another suggestion. Lower your bid amount for your highly relevant keywords to the suggested bid or less. So it could be, guys, you're bidding at the first, yeah, you want to buy high or bid high because you want to get data. But at some point, you're going to realize you don't have to bid that high to get the same number of sales. So you might need to drop the bid on it and see what happens to your sales in that situation. Now, we didn't talk about this in the PPC advanced training, but I'm going to share it now. And Danilo, if you could elaborate on it, this would be wonderful.
Yeah, sure.
When you're selecting, make sure that you have the correct match type for your keywords in your campaign. So for example, if your keyword is 1 to 2 words long, like mug or coffee mug, that would be considered a short tail. You're going to have exact match. And if your keyword is around 3 words, like brown coffee mug or wooden coffee mug, then as a general rule of thumb, you're going to do phrase match. And then if you do really long, like pirate wooden coffee mug, now we're talking about 4 words or more, you're going to put that in as a broad match. And can you elaborate a little bit, brother, on phrase match? Because I know we didn't cover that.
Yeah, absolutely. So let me actually really say something more about all of them. So basically, why you guys don't want to use, for example, a broad match on a very short tail keyword? They would be kind of like of a suicide, right? You know, letting Amazon connect your short tail keyword, for example, coffee or mug or coffee mug, to a bunch of other unrelated keywords to your product. You would end up spending so much money for non-relevant keywords. So I really want to highlight the importance of exact match here, because that's maybe one of the main reasons why people spend a lot of money on sponsor ads, because they select the wrong match type for that type of keyword, for the specific keyword. Again, short tail keyword, try to go in 95% of the times with exact match. Don't do broad match, because it can cost you a ton of money. Now, what I've seen in the past couple months mostly is that usually, literally 3 words, keywords, they work great as a phrase match. It's basically the first definition of phrase per Amazon, a 3-word keyword. It is like exact enough, like the meaning of the actual keyword can be exact enough to your product, and Amazon can still add one more word at the beginning or at the end of the keyword and connect it to other relevant keywords to your product. And so usually, again, 3 words keywords, they work great as a phrase match. And then 4 keywords or more, since they are very specific to your product already, you can go with the broad match type for longer tail keyword. In that case, don't go too crazy with bid amounts. In the past 2 weeks, we talked about, you know, how to bid 30 cents to $1 more for exact match keywords, for example. And for broad match, we suggested to do like 20 cents to 50 cents more, because since it's a broad match, Amazon will still connect those keywords to other combination of keywords, but the initial keyword is still very specific to your product. So it's kind of like you need to find the fine line between, you know, how much money you're spending in relevancy of your keyword to your product. And so long tail keyword usually go good as a broad match, but don't go too crazy with the bid amount. A good bid amount is like 20 to 50 cents higher than the highest bid. And then, but I also want to elaborate a little bit more on the previous slide, if you don't mind, going back to the previous one.
This one right here?
Yeah, exactly. Lower your bid amounts. One of the, and actually, it's actually connected to what I just said, by the way. But one of the main reasons why people spend a lot of money on PPC is because they bid on unrelevant keywords.
Right.
They don't realize that. And then we just stop spending money on those keywords, and then all of a sudden you see the ACoS, the overall ACoS going way down. So really make sure, guys, not to keep spending money on irrelevant keywords. Don't do that. You may try, you know, and see how it works, but if you see that after 3, 4, 5 days it's not working, the ACoS is like 500 that you made like one sale with a lot of impressions and clicks, maybe that's not good. So stop the keyword, lower the bid amount, and don't keep spending money on keywords like those.
Excellent, man. I couldn't have not said it better. Thank you, Daniil.
Absolutely.
Next question, what is a good CTR or click-through rate? This is a very common question.
Yeah.
So as a general rule of thumb, guys, and again, this is going to depend on the category, but this is a reference point. Anything from 0.7 to 1% is minimum. You at least want to get there. If that ad shows up, at least 0.7 of the people who see it for the impression, you want them to click on it. Well, 1 to 2% is good, 2 to 5% is excellent, and 5+ is insanely awesome.
Yeah.
Why am I getting so few impressions? This is another common question. There's a lot of different reasons that you might be getting too few impressions. Number one, you're bidding too low for your ad to show up high enough in the search results. You need to bid higher. The more money you are bidding, the higher you're bidding on a keyword, the more competitive you are for that keyword. That means your chance of showing up sooner and sooner is higher. And I want to add one thing really quick to this question. A reason for a low click-through rate could be because you're getting impressions, but you're not showing up soon enough. In other words, it's not high enough on the page, which could result in fewer people seeing it because it's on the second page or it's on the bottom of the first page. And that relates to this. Another reason your impressions may be low is because the keyword that you're bidding on may have medium to low relevance to your listing. And guys, it doesn't mean you don't want any medium keywords in your ad campaign, medium relevant. You do, but you don't want to be bidding on them like crazy if they have medium relevance. The question is, are they ultimately going to help you rank? And second, are they going to make you money? Third reason is your product may be in the wrong category or subcategory. So just as your keywords in your campaign need to be relevant to your listing needs to be relevant to its category. Relevance is a very important word with Amazon. If there's a lack of relevance, then it's going to hurt everything and ultimately your sales.
Yeah, this was one of my first mistakes, brother. With my very first product, I put that into a wrong category, which I didn't know was wrong. I thought it was a good one. And I was saying like 5, 6 per day of this product. I was super happy. Then once I realized that I was in the wrong category and Amazon changed that for me, I still remember I sold 31 units the day after for that same product, like one day after. And that was all because the right category. And for that very reason, my sponsor ads were not showing up on page 1. I was like bidding so much money and my ad would not show up anywhere. Like maybe I will find them on page 2 or page 3, whatever. As soon as I changed the category, boom, top of page 1 right away.
That's excellent. Yeah. You know, guys, one way to know if you're in the right category or not, and I know sometimes it can get confusing because your product could fit in more than one. Here's what you can do. If you take your top keywords, and you will know those if you use tools like Amazow or Market Intelligence, etc., and you search it on Amazon's page, and you look at all the results that come up on that first page, most of those, if your product is the same kind of product as those, go look at their category and see what category they're in. And that'll give you guidance right away. And as a general rule of thumb, never pick the other category. You know, if you can't find the right category, I remember doing this in the early days of Amazon.
That was my mistake, actually.
That's exactly what I did with one of my.
That's what I did, yeah.
That is so funny because I was like, I'm going to be unique. I'm just going to pick the very last option, other. And I think it just went into space. And I had to go back.
And nothing worked.
Yeah. So avoid that, guys.
Right. We did a mistake for you, so don't do that.
We did it. We're saving you money. Another reason your impressions could be low is because your exact and phrase match keywords in your campaign might need to be written in the exact order as in the title of your listing. Now, obviously, for broad match, that's different. This is less important. But if you know, I'll use the example again, brown coffee mug. That's a very long tail keyword, and that your impressions aren't showing up. You may need to go back into your title if you know this is a very important, relevant keyword and adjust it so it actually says it in that order. It doesn't mean your ad will never show up for variations, those words mixed around, but that works with broad match and automatic, but not so well for phrase match or exact match.
Bro, this is so important, guys. Really pay attention to this slide right here.
Yeah.
This is one of the most common, one of the most common reasons why your ad won't show up as easily. Again, for exact match and phrase match keywords in your PPC campaign, you want to make sure that combination of words and keyword, it's the exact same one that you have in your title. And as Seth mentioned, and as we work here, if it's a broad match, it doesn't really matter because Amazon can actually change the order of words in that keyword. But guys, pay attention to this slide. And remember, if you don't use the same order of words in those keywords, your ad might not show up as easily, and it might cost you more money to actually show up on page 1. So pay close attention to this.
Absolutely. And the fifth reason could be because some keywords, they just have low search volume and you cannot expect more impressions. So, you know, for our products, we know which keywords get a lot of search and which get low search. And so you know, if there's just they have to search it for the ad to show up, and there's nothing you need to do to change that. Yeah. Danilo, do we have any questions yet in the chat room?
We have one question from Mitra, okay? She's asking, when we run PPC ads to just find out the keywords, then option 1, how good our listing should look for picture? And then option B, how we should price the item we are selling. Should we put it very high price? So Mitra, when we run PPC ads to just find out keywords, I mean, it depends on what type of strategy you are applying. Like if you are looking for keywords at the beginning, you know, before launching your product, you created a listing at that point, it doesn't really matter optimization of your listing because you're not really selling, you're just using PPC to find new keywords. But if you're selling already and you are still using an automatic campaign to find new keywords, definitely you want to have your listing optimized, because if your listing is not optimized, the results of that PPC campaign, it won't be as reliable as they could. So definitely have your listing optimized, pictures, bullet points, all the keywords, title, everything. That's super important. One thing I want to also remind you, we introduced a couple of weeks ago a new hack. We call it the hybrid auto manual campaign hack, right? So basically, guys, with this type of hack, you'll be able to find some hidden gems, hidden keywords with a manual campaign, but without spending all the money that you might be spending on an automatic campaign. Just to remind you how that works, you simply need to create a manual campaign with your top 3 to 5 short tail keywords. And again, they have to be short tail keywords, and bid a very low amount of money on those keywords. I'm talking about like 30, 40 cents per keyword, like super low. You don't need to be ranking for those keywords. You just need to trigger the Amazon system to actually find new keywords for you. So manual campaign, short tail keywords, like 3 to 5 short tail keywords, broad match, low bid. What's going to happen is that after a few days, if you download the ad report, you will start finding a bunch of new related keywords relevant to your product, because now Amazon is finding new search terms based on those relevant keywords that you put in, and you have full control on the bid amount. So if something is not working, just lower your bid, or you can actually even increase the bid, and that will give you great results. I hope that was helpful, Mitra.
Yeah, really, really good. And I want to add something to that too. I think her question might be related to what we're going to be doing in China as well.
Yeah.
So if you're using it, Mitra, to hunt for new products, making that listing amazingly beautiful is not your goal. I would recommend a really simple, basic listing. And everyone, if you go to the find stage, we added 15 videos over the last couple of days. We're going to add more details as well very soon with embedded slideshows on the find stage. And there's a whole video in there that covers exactly that, how to use PPC to find new products. So your goal in that situation is not to convert. It's just a hunter. It's like a product research tool. So instead of spending money on a software, you're spending money on PPC to find new keywords. So I would keep your listing very simple. You know, you can still fill out all the photos, but I wouldn't try to make it convert like crazy, because you're not looking for conversion. You're looking for impressions. You're looking for cost per click. You're looking for click-through rate and those kinds of things to figure out what is the demand like for potential products that maybe no one is selling at all on Amazon yet. And in China, Danilo and myself and Saad and David and Dan are all going to go really deep on this with you guys. And I want to answer another question that you asked in the Facebook group, Mitra. I remember it now this morning. You asked if, how are we going to run PPC ads if we haven't sent our products into Amazon FBA? So there's two things. Number one, you guys can get started on that now. In other words, if you go through the training that we provided, as well as for the China sourcing, we also did it there. So you really have two versions of that training. One's just more interactive than the other. For those of you guys who are going to China with us, it's on the sourcing Facebook group. And for those of you who aren't, you can still go to find and watch the how-to video I created on that. When we go to China, you can launch now. You can find a generic product category you're interested in and start buying now and just get it in there so you can run ads and start researching. So when you get to China, you're going to be ahead of the game. However, if you're waiting to get to China, that's totally fine. We're still going to share a screen and show you step by step how to do that. So you understand, you're like, hey, once I get to China, then I'll launch, no problem. You can still do that after, but we're still going to share a screen to show you how to do it.
But one very quick question from Asia in the chat. Do you consider the word "my" in a keyword as a keyword? Example, find my key. Is it a 2 words or 3 words? That would be a 3 words keyword, Asia, in that case. And so, yeah, all the words that combine a keyword, you have to count them as single. And if they're like 1, 2, in this case, it's like a 3-word keyword. But you know, in this case, also you can play with exact match and phrase match and see which one works best for you, because this is like one of those hybrid keywords. It's very short, so you might have to try both exact match and phrase match. 1 week exact, and then the other week phrase match, and see which one gives you best results.
Excellent. I've been running PPC for a while, but I have little to no sales. So number one, guys, bid higher. The higher you bid, the sooner your listing will show on the search page results. Listing clicks and eventually sales you will get. Second, make sure your listings keywords match the keywords in your campaign. So you want to make sure it's relevant. So the bid higher is a money issue, and the second is a relevance issue. And then the third, and this is very important, and this is also why we added 15 new videos to the find section, because we talk a lot about this. Differentiate your product. Give shoppers a reason to buy your product over the competitions. If you don't do this third point, you guys, then it won't work anyways. You have to, when I see Danilo's product and look at the competition, I need a strong reason to buy Danilo's, because I know he's adding value to me far beyond what anyone else, whether that's through bundling, perceived value, real value, any of those things, accessories. So this is, I cannot overemphasize this. If I was to say one thing you must do on Amazon, you want to succeed, you must differentiate, my friends. You have to give me a strong reason to buy your product instead of your competition. And if you try to get by, oh, I'm gonna like take a little shortcut here, a shortcut there, and I'm saving my budget, you're gonna waste money, because once you launch, you don't get enough sales, and then you're in a really bad place.
Yeah, that's perfect. And just let me add about it. Mostly today, which is much more difficult to get reviews like it was in the past, we really need to focus on differentiation. And you can sell, and we proved that with a lot of members. Actually, we got Jackson right here. He's the perfect example. He's been selling a great amount of units per day with 0 reviews.
Yeah.
1 reviews. I don't know how many he has right now, but I saw a post yesterday. It was a 27, 24 sales per day.
Yeah.
So it's a great amount of reviews. And I think he has right now maybe 2, 3, or 4, no more than that. So that's the perfect example right here live, that today more than ever, differentiating is so important. And you can make sales with low reviews. Of course, the more reviews you get, the more sales you're going to be able to make. But don't do like shortcuts like Seth said. Oh, just let me just launch and see what happens, and then I will optimize. You're gonna waste your time and money.
Yeah.
You need to start like a killer in that market and be the best since day one.
Amen. 100%. What if I'm spending a lot on PPC, but I still have no sales? Make sure you are spending money on keywords that are highly relevant to your listing. This is where relevance comes in again. Make sure your listing is desirable. So you need fantastic pictures. You need a competitive price. You need persuasive copy. That's referring to the listing description, the bullet points, and the keywords, and even the title. But your picture, your featured photo, is the #1 most powerful reason someone may click, but okay, they look at the comparison, they're like, I'm not going to buy it. So if you want to make money, make sure that listing is desirable. And this is also an example of differentiation, but it's adding perceived value, not real value. Obviously, the picture you don't take home and apply the picture. It's just an image. But you don't go cheap on your photos, guys. Spend the money needed in order to make them absolutely outstanding. Make sure your listing is clearly offering something better than the competition. And again, that goes back to differentiation.
Hey, just let me know when you guys are ready for a question.
I'm ready. Let's do it, brother.
Okay, well, I've got a quick one, and then I've got a detailed one. The quick one is, so I realized after that last webinar that I was doing my PPC a little bit wrong, and I started up a new campaign filling out long tails with the broad match, like you guys are saying. One thing I noticed that was really weird is when I would add the keyword, and you know where you add all the keywords and then it says save and it shows the suggested bid amount. I would look at that, and it would be like, some of them would be like crazy high, and then you save it, and then the bid's like 1/3 of the price. Which one is true?
That's a great question, and that's an Amazon glitch. I'm 100% sure. Amazon updated the whole look of the PPC campaigns in the last 3 weeks, right? And since then, I've seen some weird things in those campaigns. And the thing that you just mentioned, I think it's more of a glitch, because as you mentioned, when you add keywords, the bids are like super high. Then you save, you go to the campaign, and they're like way lower.
Yeah.
Which one works? I say still based on the lower bid amount. So that's what I'm doing right now.
Well, that's what I'm going to change to, because I was like, I don't want to be, you know, not on the first page. So one of my words was like between $4 and $6 per click. And I was like, I need to bid $6.50. What? Oh my goodness!
I think it's a glitch from Amazon. I think they will fix it.
Okay, well, good. I can down my bids a little bit. But here, I'll give you guys a quick update, and you can give me a little bit, and maybe this will help other people. So now, first of all, my email follow-up has been superb. I'm getting like 30 to 40% open rates, and I've got 11 reviews now, all natural.
Wow, and that's what 10 days?
30 days. 30 days. I've been live 30 days. So it's good, and I'm listening to all this stuff, and I feel like I'm doing everything right. I've tweaked my listing. The offer is pretty much irresistible in my mind, value-wise and offer-wise. But here's what I feel like is going on. You guys can tell me whether I think I've got it right. Because I look at my PPC reports, and like 3/4 of my sales are coming through one kind of middle short tail word that there's some variations of, but at a high cost, like between 100, 120% ACoS. And then the other 25% are like spread between a billion other, like maybe like 10 other one-hit wonders, like auto campaign on other people's ASINs, 100% click through and they buy, stuff like that, where it's like all these one-hit wonder words that are great, but I'm not going to get any sales if I depend on them. Like I've been doing, when I was going aggressive, I was getting like between 25 and 30 sales a day for like maybe a 5-day period. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to try tweaking my PPC, backing off a little bit, seeing if I can get some organics, because I was getting maybe 20, 25% organic sales. And now with dropping my bids down and stuff, I'm getting more like 15 a day. Not a big deal, because if I do 15 a day until I run out, that'll be perfect timing for me to get more stock. Here's my theory. My theory is, because this main word where I'm getting all my sales, my product's an accessory product. It's an accessory bundle. And the main short tail keyword where all the traffic is that niche accessories. And everybody's fighting for that keyword. It's expensive, but it's where the majority of the sales are. And so I'm just wondering, do I need to just keep pushing and pushing until I get ranking on that main keyword and then I can back off? Or should I just try to fight for the lesser keywords that, you know, maybe are only going to bring me like a 30, 40% of the sales and just do the slow roll?
Yeah, that's it. That's the scenario, brother. And on average, usually for any given product, the amount of keywords that make you sell are maybe like between 2 and 5, literally like that little. Let me ask you, where is your organically listing? What is your actually showing up? Page 2?
So yeah, on the lower kind of medium relevancy traffic keywords, I'm like in the high teens on some, the lower ones, and then on the medium ones, I'm usually like in the low 20s to low 30s. So I'm showing up on the second page, like right at the top of the second page, or like the middle of the second page, and
what about the main one? What about for the main keyword, the one that's costing you more money?
For the main keyword, I think I'm at the end of the third page, bottom of the third page kind of area. And I've been getting growth. Like 5 days ago, I was still on like page 4 or 5, and then right as I hit like 4 weeks of selling, I got a huge bump. And I'm just wondering if that's going to keep going up if I stay aggressive, or if I've met some other floating point.
When you do PPC for that keyword, are you all the way up there on page 1?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm bidding crazy because I haven't adjusted to that glitch yet.
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely you can go ahead and lower your bid, because I think you will still be able to actually show up on page 1. Okay. But in your case, since you have tested the market already, and we know people love your product and they buy like crazy if they see it, that's one of the perfect cases where you should actually also try to do some giveaways. Because you know it's working, right? So maybe you get to a point that giveaways may cost you less money than PPC.
PPC, yeah, gotcha.
So it might be worth actually trying to do that, and I've done that as well. But that's why we always say don't do giveaways before testing PPC. Now you did it, you know people love your product, so you can actually go ahead and do some giveaways. Okay. And definitely lower your bid on that main keyword. And I think you should still be able to get a very good traffic on top of page 1, at least a half of page 1. Make sure to be at least there. That's still very good.
Cool. Awesome. Thanks.
You got it, bro.
Good job getting the hardest part taking care of, Jackson, and that is the conversion. I mean, now that you know it converts.
Yeah.
If I search your keyword and I find you on page 3, okay, now, and you know it converts when people find it. Now, if you're on, once you get to page 1, can you imagine what's going to happen? Because yeah, your costs go up to get there, but once you get there, your conversion is going to go up, and that will help counteract the cost. And then all of a sudden, it makes more sense.
Yep.
Yeah. And one thing I wanted to mention is I was encouraged when you mentioned earlier, because you said between 10 or 15. I can't seem to get my my unit session percentage higher than 15, but at least it's 15. So
That's good.
Good job. Great questions, man. All right. What about this question, guys? Can I just sell on Amazon without spending money on PPC ads? Now, the truth is you can, but you will make far less money and might not ever rank at all, which means no money. PPC gives your product visibility so you can rank organically for the most important and relevant keywords. And this is actually ties back into Jackson's question. So the PPC ads are giving him ranking. They're helping it to show up. And first, it's an artificial ranking. It just shows up because you're spending enough money to get it there. But once it's there, it's sticky, meaning sticky means it stays there, or it tends to stay on that first page of search results if your conversion rate, AKA your desirability, is extremely high. So once your listing is ranking organically, that's when you can lower your daily budget or even stop bidding on certain keywords if you want. In my opinion, I would never stop PPC ads. And the reason, at some level, I'd always have them going, especially using the hacks that we taught. That way, because what happens is, and we've seen this over time, keywords do change. Some go up, some go down, and then all of a sudden you start seeing new ones. And sometimes those new ones actually give you ideas to improve your product as well. So people don't stay the same. The market is fluid and it adjusts. So a PPC ad, at the least, it shows me what are the keywords people are hunting relevant to my product. That's at the least. And I'll share one simple example with you guys. There was one of the people I work very closely with, and he was running his Amazon store. And he had a keyword that was by far the most relevant. The impressions are high if you bid high enough on it. The keyword is like this keyword identified his product. Now, there was another keyword that wasn't quite as relevant, and it wasn't the main. It was just a little bit less. On that first keyword, he would bid and bid and bid, but he really struggled to be profitable because he had to spend so much money just to get it to show up on the first page. And even then, he was still struggling. So what he did is he did exactly what we're teaching you. He dropped his bid on the main keyword. He didn't completely stop it, because you don't want to do that. And it could tell Amazon, hey, this is not relevant to my listing. You don't want to do that. But he dropped it. He brought it down. And for that secondary keyword, he raised the bid. And even though the demand was less and fewer people search it, all of a sudden, because the competition was less, he started getting more and more sales. And it tripled his income, tripled it, talking about profit. And all he did is he just switched out 2 keywords. Or not switched out, but he adjusted them. So sometimes, guys, your strategy may not even be, I got to bid the highest and the best keyword. Sometimes it may be, I'm going to bid higher on a different keyword that is less demand, but it's more profitable because of where the competition is. I'm running PPC aggressively. I'm ranking and I'm getting great sales, but my advertising cost of sale is a little high. So what do I do? First of all, lower your bids on low and medium relevant keywords, as they might be costing you money for a very low return. Second, lower your bid amount for the highly relevant keywords to the suggested bid or less, similar to what I just shared in the example. And third, make sure you selected the correct match type for your keywords. 1 to 2 words, exact match. 3 words, phrase match. 4 more words, broad match. This here, guys, on the phrase and the exact match, the reason this is so important is if you have a 2-word keyword like coffee mug, and you put that in as broad match, Bobby McGee might search brown coffee mug, but yours is white, and he clicks on it. Yep. It costs you money, but he won't buy it.
Yeah, and this is super important. It actually ties into the question that Asia asked in the chat, brother.
Yeah.
She's asking, after running Auto PPC for 30 days, the ACoS for the keyword is 15%. So it's great. After running the same keyword as an exact match, the ACoS, it's 90%. What does it mean and what to do? I mean, of course, there are like different scenarios as always.
Right.
And usually exact match, it is more expensive than a broad match. But of course, you're supposed to be getting less clicks. Right. In that case, I would say maybe if you're ranking enough, you could try to lower your bid on this keyword and still get a good amount of traffic. Because if it was 15% with the automatic campaign, that means that the actual bid that you set up, it was way lower than the one that you're setting up right now. So that's why it was 15%. But you were showing up way fewer times. So right now, maybe you're bidding more, show up more, and of course, it costs you more money. So depending on where you are showing up organically right now, you may decide to lower the bid or keep pushing a little bit more. But if you want to lower the ACoS and if it's a relevant keyword, try to lower the bid right around the suggested bid, maybe a little higher, and you should be able to fix that 90%.
Yeah, that's an awesome example. How can I tell if I'm making or losing money on my PPC campaign? Know your numbers. So if your ACoS is lower, your advertising cost of sale is lower than your gross profit margin, then that means you're making money. And if your ACoS is higher than your gross profit margin, then you are losing money. So the way to look at it, guys, you just take your selling price, you subtract supplier cost, shipping cost, FBA fees, that's your gross profit. In selling price, supplier cost, shipping cost, FBA fees, these are called your COGS or cost of goods sold. And then to calculate your gross profit, you just take your gross profit, you divide it by the price that you are selling it for, and that will give you profit margin. And this profit margin, let's just say it's 40%. So if your advertising cost of sale is 40% as well, that means you're breaking even. If your advertising cost of sale is 30%, that means you have a 10% gross profit margin.
Right, and this is, let me add another of those very common mistakes that Amazon sellers make, and that's not knowing their numbers. Like sometimes I do meetings where people don't know how much they're spending to buy their product, and if you don't know that, how can you do a PPC campaign, right? So you need to know how much money you're making, and that's the gross profit margin. So guys, really pay attention to this because you need to know your numbers, and after that, you realize if you're making money on PPC, if you're not, and how you can adjust that.
Exactly. And you don't have to add, when you're looking at your gross profit margin, you would not add things like, I spent money for an Amazon listing optimization.
Oh yeah.
One time, like, my internet cost. Yes, that is a business expense. But if you included that, then you're looking at net profit margin. But when you're calculating this, it makes it all confusing. Just focus on the gross profit.
Yeah, you look for profitability for each single product. So we have to have more realistic numbers.
Right. Should I include wire transfer fees when calculating gross profit? Yes. These are included in your COGS, your cost of goods sold, because it's related to paying your supplier when you are having that built for you, that manufactured.
Perfect.
What keywords should I put in my title? This was actually one of my favorite questions, Danilo, because I think it's so central to everything we do. Put the most relevant keywords in your title. An example, if you're selling a green ceramic coffee mug, then you need those exact words in your title. Green ceramic coffee mug. Now, you could have 12-ounce ceramic coffee mug. That keyword is still in your title. But if you find that green ceramic coffee mug as an exact, like that phrase, you really want to rank for that, it's a very important word, then in that situation, you might consider removing any in-between words and making it the exact. But if it's at the beginning stages, you're more testing it out, you might find, no, this is actually, 12-ounce ceramic coffee mug is a better keyword. And then you can add the 12 ounce as a result. The secret to title optimization is include the keywords that most people search to find your product. And you're actually doing that in the find stage, you guys. You're already think about it this way. When you're in the find stage, you're already laying the foundation for your PPC ad campaign, because how are you finding products? Ultimately based on keywords. Even if you look through all the videos now in the find section, every single one of them at the end of the day, it goes back to keywords. If you're finding products using Amazon, Jungle Scout, Market Intelligence, it's still based on keywords. If you're doing it using PPC ads, it's keywords. Even if you're looking for it on other platforms like Etsy, there are still keywords to identify that product. Pro tip, use the keywords in the titles of your top competitors. Now, there was a question, I believe Asira No, Asia asked this question on the Facebook group, and I don't think I put it in here, and I apologize, and I can answer it now. So the question was, when you're launching your campaign at the beginning, and you have those 5 to 8 keywords, we call them your power keywords that go in your title and your bullet points. And then you mentioned taking those and putting them on the back end. So you actually don't put those on the back end. You're going to build out your listing from the beginning and put the most important keywords in the title. And the way you're going to find those is by looking at 3 things: search volume, keyword ranking, and the titles, the keywords in the titles of your competition. And you're going to put all those together and decide, okay, which ones are the most relevant. Now, keep in mind that there is no search volume on Amazon. No tool has it. I know some tools claim it, but I very candidly reject that, because in our experience and based on many of my software developer friends who understand the software behind Amazon extremely well, Amazon doesn't release that data. So at the most, it's a guess when they give you search volume. Even Job Toolbox, it's still coming from global search volume. That's why I like to put more emphasis on keywords autocomplete, the ranking, because that is coming directly from Amazon's store. So if I was in your guys' shoes, I would give the most weight to the ranking using autocomplete like Keyword Tool Dominator or Job Toolbox. And second, I would use the titles of your competitors. So the keywords that go on the back end, Asia, and I think it was you asked this question, are the lower relevant keywords. So you're not, the only thing, the reason you're, as you launch your campaign, the only reason you're changing the title is based on what the ad campaign is showing you about the competition, because you're going to be tweaking it.
Yeah, that's perfect, man. Sometimes sellers get scared to rank for more competitive keywords, and they say, okay, can I instead of using my best relevant keywords, the one that best identify my product in the title, can I just put like secondary keywords or like longer tail keywords? I mean, you can totally do that, but at the end of the day, you always want to be found from the majority of people, because that's the only way you can make sales, right? If you want your listing to rank and make money and more money and more money and more money over time, you will need to rank sooner or later for your best keywords, because otherwise very few people will find you when they search for the main keyword, right? And so, and then one more thing, depending on how you hinge those keywords, and we talked about this in the past, right? The power of hinging keywords correctly. You can actually start from your main keyword and then add words before or after, and now you're also ranking for longer tail keywords. So don't do the mistakes of not wanting to rank for the main keywords because you think it's too expensive or too much competition. You should always start from there and then rank at the same time, because you can totally do it for longer tail keywords.
Yeah, that's really well said. Very, very well said, ma'am. What keywords should I put in the back end of my listing? You're going to put in the low relevant keywords.
There you have it. Yeah.
These are keywords related to your product, but they do not identify your product exactly. So I'll use an example. A coffee mug definitely identifies this product. But if I said drinking mug or drinking cup, yeah, it is a drinking cup, but it's a mug is much more specific. So drinking cup might be an appropriate keyword to put on the back end.
Yeah. One more thing, but if you don't mind,
Yes.
Another example, all those keywords with holidays, like a Christmas gift, Father's Day gifts, Mother's Day gifts, backend keywords are maybe the best space to actually add those. So that's another great addition to your backend keywords. Very
good. And synonyms, words that are related, mug, cup, or hypernyms. And hypernym means it's a broader category of a more specific. So for example, let's say you're looking for colorful items. The shopper's looking for colorful items, and your item is red. You might put colored in there because it's a broader category of red. Homonyms, which means they sound the same, but they're spelled differently. So yours might, be actual steel, but they're spelling it wrong. They're spelling it S-T-E-A-L because it's a homonym. So you want to put S-T-E-A-L in the back end, even though it's not technically accurate. And then, of course, actual misspells of your product. And in this case, you have whiskey with an E and whiskey. Where do I put my medium relevant keywords? We talked about on the back end, that's your low relevant. Your medium relevant are going to go in the bullet points and description of your listing. Why? Because the highly relevant go in the title. Any other questions come in, Danilo?
Not for now, brother.
Okay. When do I stop pushing PPC and rely on organic sales? When you are ranking organically on the top half of page 1 as a general rule of thumb. Again, this is going to depend on your product in the category, but if you're that top half, like you're in those first 10 different results, okay, now you can drop your budget on your PPC more and more and more over time. Being in the top 10 of search results is a good rule. Being in the top 5 is beautiful.
Yeah.
This will depend on the competition in the market for your product category.
Yeah, and that's perfect. I mean, that's another very common question. When should I stop PPC? Well, as soon as you're ranking organically, and then you can rely on organic sales, then you stop.
Right.
Usually, on average, it takes anywhere between 2 weeks and a month to be able to rank on the top half page of page 1. I launched a new product actually today, 2 weeks ago, and I am number 14 right now on page 1. Actually, no, today was 12 actually,
nice.
Page 1. So I'm almost there, and I've only been doing PPC for the last 2 weeks. 0 reviews. Now I only have 1, literally. So I'm going very slow with reviews, and I'm doing like anywhere between 8 and 10 sales a day with 0 reviews. And so position number 12 after 2 weeks. I'm sure in the next few days I will enter top 10, and then in the next 2 weeks, most likely I'll be able to get to at least top 6 or top 5, and then I will definitely lower the bids for that very specific keyword. And one more example, like Jackson mentioned before, even for this product, I am making 80% of my sales, maybe even more than that, 85% from 1 keyword, and all the rest from a bunch of other combination of keywords. So that's a very common scenario as well.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Hey, I got another quick one for you guys.
Yeah.
So with regards to monitoring your organic sales, do you guys have a best kind of guess strategy? Like you look at the keyword ranking for some of the keywords that you're actually on page 1 or getting close to page 1, and judging by their relevancy and traffic, is that how you determine, hey, these organic sales are probably coming from there? Or do you just assume organic sales are maybe like the random person that'll scroll to page 5 looking for what they want?
Well, that's a tough answer. I mean, it's a tough question, therefore a tough answer, because it's almost impossible to know where you're getting your organic sales from. The only thing we can know is how many organic sales we're making every day, and that's just by doing the difference between organic sales, like total sales, and the sponsor ad sales after 2 days. So don't look at the sales today, but look at the sales 2 days ago, and then make the difference. So that's the only thing that we know. But let me tell you, at the end of the day, if you have a scenario with PPC where you're making the most amount of sales from certain keywords, most likely there will be the same scenario also for organic keywords.
Exactly.
And so at the end of the day, you don't have numbers, but you know pretty much what's working and what's not.
And Danilo, you just explained one of the reasons I don't like to stop PPC 100%, because it's giving me knowledge about what's working. It's like it is the best product research tool. And I base it off of, if I'm getting this conversion rate for this keyword, I'm assuming, and it's not going to be 100% accurate, but I'm assuming I'm transferring that over to the organic sales, because people, when they buy, they're not more likely to click on ad versus an ad, a sponsored listing versus organic based on the keyword type. They're just, all they're thinking is the keyword, is this product what I want? So that is your best way to measure it, Jackson, is based on what is the PPC campaign telling you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Yeah. Question, man. Okay, that's it. So let me jump over here and stop sharing my screen and see if we have any more questions. We got 6 minutes.
There was one more from Asia. She was asking if I don't run, she's super active today, by the way. She was asking, if I don't run PPC, I can't find my listing on Amazon using the keywords I have in the backend or even in the title. Reasons? Asia, I've seen this happening more and more literally in the last month. Amazon is getting very strict about pictures, title, like length of the title, how many characters you have in your title, backend keywords, make sure to be under 250, and make sure to optimize your listing in every single field in the backend of your listing. Like, put as much information as possible. Amazon loves optimized listings, but really make sure to be in the guidelines for the maximum character counts in the title, and that could be one of the reasons. and then check pictures. But it should be, and then call Amazon, see also what they tell you. But that should be between those one of the reasons why this is happening to you. And again, it's a very common thing that's happening right now.
Yeah, and it's going to go on and off too as well, Asia. So what will happen is for a while you may not find your listing showing up on the first several pages for a backend keyword, and then later you do, because not just Amazon changes, the market changes. You're dealing with two revolving things constantly shifting. So your backend keywords goal is not to make you a ton of money. It's to make sure you're getting sales and ranking for anything that may not, but could be, got to be indexed for this keyword. Focus on the title and the bullet points. 90% of your sales are going to be based on the keywords in there.
Then she has one more question. Been running a Facebook ad and got 1 sale per day, but can't track it on Facebook ads. Is it a matter of installing a tracking pixel? How do we keep track of buys coming from Facebook ads? If you are directing Facebook ads to your Amazon listing, there's not much you can do, because really you cannot install any pixel on any Amazon page. If you were to sell from your store, you can totally do that, because then you can install a pixel from Facebook. One thing people is starting to do is to create funnels, where basically you direct them from the Facebook ads to a sales page. So let's say that's a page that goes before going to the Amazon listing. And if you add a pixel to that page, you can actually track how many people go to that page and how many people click to the buy now button. But then you don't know if they will actually buy or not. Because once they get to Amazon, you still don't know that. But at least you know how many people went to that page, how many clicks you got, and how many people clicked on the buy now button before going to Amazon. So that's one thing you can try to do, a very simple funnel, and you just need maybe 1 or 2 landing pages, and that's it. And then the last step is going to the Amazon page. But again, you don't have sales results from Facebook ads to Amazon.
Yeah, another option too you can do is, if you use WordPress, you can install a plugin, and it will integrate your Amazon store with your e-commerce website. And then Shopify already has this option. You don't have to install a plugin for it. That just gives you this option for fulfillment. Just make sure that the theme supports that. So you're actually getting your sale now on your e-commerce website, even though it's being fulfilled by Amazon. So it's being fulfilled by Amazon, but the purchase is coming through the website. You can track that, and that's where you can install a pixel. That question, if you could elaborate a little more, add it to the advanced Facebook group, Asia, and tag Carlos Amorca. Carlos this is what he does. He does this full time. He does Facebook ads, and he is there to help you guys with any questions that go really deep on Facebook ads. This is one of the reasons we hired him, is to give you guys more support in that area. And this is only for the advanced members or legacy members in this group. So if you add on the Facebook group, tag him, he can give you some more information on that as well. Awesome. Danilo, any last words, man? Anything you also want to add?
But I mean, are we still meeting next week, or is this the last day? I mean,
this is the last one.
Sometimes the last because I'm too bad right now.
I want to say thank you, Danilo, for being here 5 times. You have been here more than any other coach here in the advanced group to help with these webinars, and specifically for PPC, because I know it's something you're very strong in. So I just want to say thank you for all the huge amount of value and content you've done. I mean, brother, this just, every time I hear this, it makes, I want to jump for joy. Amazon warriors are making money. Amazon warriors are becoming millionaires. Like, I'm grateful, man. I'm so thankful. And I would say that's partly due to you, man, and your help as well. So thank you, brother.
Absolutely, my pleasure, man. I was super happy to do that when you asked me to actually create something like this, and it's been a great journey the last 5 weeks. And I wish we could do that more, but really, it's been great. So, guys, any other question you have, post in the Facebook group, and we will take care of those questions in the group.
Yeah, and go to the find stage, everyone. We added 15 videos for you. These are fresh, they are new, and they're, in my opinion, you're not going to find better product research techniques than here, because it's not just me, it's not just Danilo, it's a combination of coaches and other sellers who are really, really strong as well combined. Our goal is to give you all the best information, put it in one spot so you guys can crush it on Amazon. So go, even if you're not launching right now, you're not doing product research, go watch the videos, guys. It'll expand your knowledge. And if you're going to China with us, you must, I should just make a requirement, Danilo. Okay, it's required. You can't go. You got to watch the one that shows you how to research products using PPC. it ties in so beautifully with what Danilo and I just taught you. It really, it's like it integrates. And when you get to China, you're going to understand so much more. You're going to have the next level of questions to ask, and that's going to help you guys even better. And I can't wait to see many of you guys in China or in Europe in just a few weeks.
That's awesome, man.
Thank
you so much, guys.
Thank you. Great questions, Jackson. Keep crushing it, brother.
Bye, Jackson.
Guys, thanks so much. We'll see you.
Bye.